What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back again here on PlayStation's Source. This is, of course, Save Slot Podcast, the weekly news show about any and all things PS5, PlayStation games, and PlayStation itself. With me, of course, my luxurious co-host, the ArachKnight. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're gonna have a very, I'm gonna have a lot of emotions this podcast, you know what I'm saying? But first and foremost, you know, everything's good over here in your part of Arizona. You know, things are good. Things are
no, everything was. We bracking, we chilling.
We bracking, we keep it moving. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Housekeeping, of course, catch the show on youtube.com/PlayStation Source, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, etc. via our anchor link in the description. You can also like the video and rate the podcast to help us get seen by more viewers, so we can be a bigger PSS family. I did not check to see if you plebeians, you listeners, wrote any reviews. You know, if I'm checking as we speak. ArachKnight, if they didn't, we gotta lay down some penalties here. You know, oh my god, what a surprise! Look at nothing.
I mean, there's only so much you can say about a 5-star podcast.
I mean, I suppose, but you could at least tell us we're 5 stars. You know, I know we're perfect already. I wouldn't mind hearing that once in a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man that needs
reassurance.
Reassurance. Thank you. I held up on the word. Appreciate it. Reassurance. You know. But if you don't need reassurance and you need some more likes, of course, you can go down below and like or dislike the show, and connect with us further on Twitter and Discord down below in the description down there as well. If you're feeling a little generous as well, feel free to hit that join button to become a member of the channel with the $1 Prince tier and our $5 King tier as well. To be members, just like ArachKnight, Chungi, I think, Owen, Tapiwa Musa, and Caleb Kaiser. You know, I'm gonna just start naming random people that I know listen or follow us at least. But you can of course also check out stream series throughout the week. We did Ratchet and Clank. Of course, we will be talking about that in a little bit, as well as this upcoming week, Metal Gear Solid 2 is happening. Sons of Liberty, it's going down. I'm very excited for it. I was told to record my reactions to the trailer of MGS2 and bring it to the JoyClicks boys at some point. So I gotta do that eventually. But yeah, I'm excited. Have you played Metal Gear Solid 2?
I have not.
Okay. Did you beat Metal Gear Solid, the first one?
I ended up watching like parts of a playthrough, because it's just like that gameplay has shown its age.
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's a tough game to play in 2021 specifically. You know, for sure.
Yeah, like
for sure.
Narratively, it's as good as it's always been. But that gameplay is very, very rough.
Does not hold up.
No.
Does not hold up. Nope. And if you missed out on the channel, of course, we did some Destruction All-Stars beginner tips. I'm still working on a really big review of all the characters in Destruction All-Stars. I'm like I half don't want to make it, but I've already came so far in it. I might just finish it and just put it out there, you know. But we'll see where that comes. Also, we have rumors that I talked about of a Final Fantasy VII PS5 upgrade. There's rumors going around about extra story DLC being put into Final Fantasy VII as well. Definitely check out that video. And we went over, which we will get to right now, I suppose, since we're right here and it's not on the main show. Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart, the next big PS5 first party game from our boys Insomniac Games, did get a release date of, I believe it was June 11th, 2021. Yeah, I'm gonna double check that, but let me know your thoughts about you know, this date. Are you excited about it? You have any thoughts, ArachKnight?
I think it's a good placement. Like it's right when the summer starts for a lot of people. Like, you know, kick it off with some Ratchet and Clank. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I've been watching a bunch of the like Ratchet streams, like hopping in, seeing what's going on, like watching the VODs once everything's like, if I can't make it to a stream or if I have to leave in the middle of a stream, and like just kind of like going along with the journey. And I'm excited. I wasn't gonna buy Rift Apart. I'm really considering buying it now.
It's a really great franchise, you know, and like even they said that, hey, if this is your first game, they say it's a great place to start because they do say that like it's a self-contained standalone story, right? But there are connections to the old games and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be only for those that like have played all the games, right, that are gonna get those connections. But they say it's a great place to start if you're just going into the franchise. And no, I'm really excited for Rift Apart. I think it looks great. I'm very, very excited for it. There was one thing I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, one of the, I believe it was the director of the game, I forgot which Insomniac developer said it, but they said that the game was going to release in the quote-unquote release window of PS5. Are we counting June as release window of PS5? Is that what we're doing in 2021?
I don't know. A release window for me is the first few months, not the first 7.
For me, the first window is 3 months. That's just me.
Yeah, agreed.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, if it were to come out in, like, March, I would consider that release window. That's fine. You know? Even though that may be more than 3 months technically. But, you know, around that realm. But if you're getting into the 6-month territory, nah, that's not release window. But, you know what? It's all good. This game's going to be great. I'm very excited for it. I love a summer game. So, I mean, yo, we're going to be here playing Mass Effect in the summer. Rift Apart in the summer. It's going to be a good summer, man.
Oh yeah, like
it's gonna be a banger.
I am ecstatic for the Legendary Edition. Like, I can't wait. Like, I don't care what I'm doing on release night. I don't care what I like. If I'm supposed to see anybody or if I'm doing anything, fuck them.
Fuck them. I agree.
I am going 100%. To be here at release. Like, as soon as I can launch the game, it's done. I don't care. I'm gonna be here for a while.
I agree. I can't wait. I'm also glad that I don't feel the obligation to stream Mass Effect. I just want to just experience it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did experience Final Fantasy VII Remake by myself for the first time, which I'm happy I did that, to be honest. But I am gonna do a stream series of Final Fantasy VII Remake before Part 2 comes out for sure. But I'm happy that I get to experience Mass Effect by myself as well. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely the way to do it. Like, some of my friends asks me to, like, just, you know, like in a Discord call or whatever, like, stream it. I was like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, my quick plan for Mass Effect right now is to just, you know, critical path it, right? I know there's a lot of side content. I heard in Mass Effect 2 there's a lot of, like, really big side content that a lot of people feel that, like, you, like, so maybe I might find, like, a definitive list of, like, you know how there's lists of Star Wars Rebels or shows like that where
Clone Wars, like what
do. Where they have arcs that, okay, like, you need to watch this arc, but you could skip these episodes. Like, if I could find the master list of, like, okay, here are the side quests that, like, actually matter, I will play those as well.
Mass Effect 2, I can tell you right now the master list, just in a sentence or two.
No spoilers,
no
right?
Spoilers.
But I know there's some sort of, like, suicide mission.
Yes, that is the whole. That's not a spoiler. They tell you in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, like, yeah. So
if a crewmate or like a squad member asks you to do it, do it.
Oh shit. Oh man,
I can't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But what the game changes significantly if you do it or not.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you to go through that because I watched my friend do the suicide mission on his very first playthrough. He was sweating. Because it's one of the only few games that I can remember where, like, you know, everybody, like, in a lot of games it's like, oh, this is the point of no return, like, there's no turning back, we're not gonna make it. It's like, you know, it's like, they'll be fine. But in Mass Effect, depending on what you do, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes.
Oh man, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I know the saves carry over from like game to game, and that is in play as well. Like,
oh yeah, no.
What you do in the whole trilogy really matters to the. Besides the end, allegedly, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
like, there is a choice pretty early on in Mass Effect 2 that's life or death in Mass Effect 3.
Jesus Christ. Well, we will get to that when we get to that. I'm very, very excited for it. Also, you know, why not announce it here? Road to Rift Apart is happening. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out when to start that. Gotta get an intro made. You know, gotta see who's on the panel. You know what I'm saying? I guess this is like background. You know, like how the sausage gets made type of conversation. But to end off this whole thing, ArachKnight, are you down to be on Road to Rift Apart? I know we've talked about it, but
I honestly don't feel like I have enough of a connection with Ratchet and Clank to talk about it. And to the quality of, like, to the quote unquote quality of how I've talked about other topics, like with Spider-Man.
Obviously,
obviously. Like, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, come on. But
yeah,
and like with Road to PS5, it's, I don't know. I feel like it would be like that one episode of Road to PS5 where, Road to Miles Morales and Road to PS5, where it's like you were talking about the console and you and Billy were talking about the console and playing the game on the console, and I was just kind of chilling out, and it's like, yeah,
right. Yeah, so
we'll talk about it more. We'll talk about it more.
That. Yes. So I guess that definitely, like, in essence settles it. You know, I do have a second person that I'm still in conversations with. We're seeing how scheduling goes and all that. And that's pretty likely because he's definitely down to come on the show with me. So we'll see. We'll see what all folds out, but at least we have save slot. You know what I'm saying? At least we have save slot.
Yeah, we have save slot.
You know. But of course, the next segment would be podcast reviews, but you assholes won't review the podcast. Why? Like, you can put it. Honestly, insult me in the podcast review. Boom, there you go. I said it. Insult me.
Damn.
Not ArachKnight though. Leave him alone. But me, insult me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Insult me. Next up here, what have you been playing? I've been talking a little bit too much. ArachKnight, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Risk of Rain with some of my friends. Like, it's fun. I remember looking at the game a year ago or so, and I was like, and kind of wrote it off. But a friend of mine introduced it to me, and we played it for a bit, and it's like, yeah, this is a lot of fun. And then we got some other friends into it, and that's all we've been playing for the last few days. So that's been fun. Apex has been a lot of fun. Other than that, like the Tomb Raider games, like,
yes, you've been playing a lot of those.
A lot of Tomb Raider.
A lot of good photo mode shots. I've been enjoying them.
Oh yeah, no, it's I've been having a lot of fun with the photo mode in those games. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider, which came out in 2015, does not have a dedicated photo mode. Because
you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. So I've been trying to make do with what I can. And I think they've been coming out okay. Shadow the Tomb Raider, I got some of my favorite, like, photo mode shots I've ever done in that game. Like, if you had to tell me to pick a favorite from that set, it'd be hard. Like, I'm really, really proud of what I did there. But I don't know. Tomb Raider's been a lot of fun. I have a huge crush on Lara Croft. It's bad.
Shout out to Lara Croft.
Dude, shout out to Lara Croft.
Your screenshots and everything, like, it is 100%. I am playing through the Crystal Dynamics trilogy, you know, and even with the announcement too that the Netflix Tomb Raider show is carrying on that storyline. I think it's really cool. So that's interesting as hell. Like, I'm okay. I definitely want to see that show. And what's a better way to, you know, have more incentive to play the trilogy, you know? And I've been itching for like an Uncharted type of game, you know? Yeah. So when that itch becomes uncontrollable, I'm gonna just jump into. I have 3 games to jump into, you know?
Yeah,
so.
It's a lot of fun. I remember because the first Tomb Raider came out in 2013, of the reboot trilogy.
Yeah.
It had come out, I think, a few days after my 13th birthday. And I go to my mom, because I'm 13 and have no money. And I was like, hey, can I use some of my birthday money to buy a game? And she's like, what game do you want to buy? Because my sister had tried to buy Saints Row, and the guy at GameStop totally snitched her out. This game has shooting and killing and nudity, and it's like, don't let your kid buy the game.
The GameStop employee did that?
Yeah.
Man, fuck that guy.
Yeah, like, I remember being a kid. I remember being a kid. Is like, what a snitch.
Yeah, see it.
My sister wanted Saints Row, and I wanted Dead Space 2. He snitched us both out. He's like, do not let your children play this game. It's like, okay, asshole. But
that's a jailable offense to me. That's life in prison.
I had to wait until I was 16 to play Dead Space 2.
Oof.
And I loved it, but I don't know. Like, I wish I played it when I wanted it, but that's a whole other story. So, she had like, okay, I need to see a trailer of the game or whatever. And the trailer of the game, like, has Laura immediately fall into some rebar.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, fuck. And she's like, you're 13. You could, like, if you think this is too, like, if you don't think this is too strong for you, go ahead. And it's like, okay. So.
Oh, okay. So at the end of the day,
I ended up getting, yeah.
Perfect.
So.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. But, like, I remember playing it and just being absolutely captivated by it. Like, it was a blast to play. Like, way back when I was a kid. And I replayed it when Rise of the Tomb Raider came out. And it holds up well. Rise, I think, is my favorite out of the 3. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a blast. Like, they're all such fun games. Like, they've got a lot more spectacle, I feel, than Uncharted. Like, there's a lot of action sets, like big action pieces, where Tomb Raider goes a little more into the fantastical, whereas Uncharted tries to keep itself a little more grounded. But both work well in their respective, like, stories and in their respective games. Like, it all makes sense considering everything that's going on. And it's a blast. It really does, like, scratch the adventuring itch that Uncharted can leave, since we haven't gotten a new one since 2017 with Lost Legacy, if I remember that correctly.
I think it was 2017, yeah, because, wait, maybe 2016?
No, 2016 was Uncharted 4.
Was Uncharted 4, yeah. Because it came out the month I graduated high school, yeah. Super cool.
Super cool. For sure. But, yeah, no. Shout out to Tomb Raider. I'm excited for the Netflix show, and I'd love to see another game. Also, put photo mode in more games, please.
I agree. Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. Okay, this has been told to you from multiple people. This is their favorite Ratchet and Clank game. I see the light. I see what they're talking about. It's a great game, right? Listen, like the more and more I play, legit, the only stumble that the Ratchet and Clank franchise has had in terms of like the main core line games. I know there's other games like, you know, All for One and like a tower defense game and stuff like that, that like those are just, you know, just shows a side of like a side that was like, hey, you know, let's just put out as much Ratchet and Clank as possible instead of them doing what they're doing now, which is let's put out Ratchet and Clank games, right? So if you don't put those other games into the mix, the main core Ratchet and Clank games, they are so good. ArachKnight, it's like unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really unbelievable, like how just they have fun stories, they have fun characters, they have fucking great gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like it like Ratchet and Clank is like one of the most feel good games I've ever experienced. You know, like I would have loved to be a kid and played Ratchet and Clank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it from watching the streams, it definitely exudes that, like, that kind of energy, and I appreciate that. Like, I've from what I've talked about, like, I love darker stories, I love stuff like that, but sometimes it feels good to play a feel good game. The only, like, I remember when I had to write a paper for oh, somebody's driving aggressively outside.
Oh, yo,
this is a neighborhood.
Sir, this is a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a residential neighborhood, please. But I remember writing a paper a few years ago in high school, and I don't know, like, this, you know the meme of Obama giving Obama a medal? This is me doing that to me. I remember writing something that, like, I was kind of just blanking out, and I reread my papers, like, wow, I'm spitting a little bit. But, playing, like, in the mix of depressing and dark narratives, which are great and valid, playing or watching or reading something that specifically targets your better nature, it's that feeling, like, you know, when you're like, you're taking a test or whatever and the room is cold and you go outside to go to your next period or whatever, it's like warm outside, you know that feeling, like your body kind of like shifts. It's like that. It feels like kind of like you're warming yourself back up, and that's what games like that are good for. Like, it's fun, and, you know, it's necessary, in my opinion, to, you know, just relax a little bit, have some fun, like, kind of not take everything so seriously.
Yeah, it's just really great, and, like, I'm loving the story that we're delving into, you know, figuring out, like, more about Ratchet's background and, like, the General Lombax, I forgot his actual name. He definitely has a name, like some with an A, but the General Lombax that essentially is trying to right his wrongs and get back in with the Lombax society, if you will. You know what I'm saying? From him being outcasted from a mistake he made, or just a shortcoming he made, and then Clank having this, like, really interesting, and him being more fleshed out as more than just, like, off of the back of Ratchet, like, in the shadow of Ratchet. You know, Clank is, like, standing up on his own 2 feet and, like, doing things himself. That is really interesting. Like, it's just really cool to see these two characters grow, you know? And, like, it's fucking great, man. I love it. I really, really, really love it. So, we're still streaming that on the channel. You can check it out. If you missed the first 2 streams, public playlist on the channel, to go check it out. YouTube.com, since PlayStation's source, of course. You can check out it there. But I do gotta talk about another game that I did not play on PlayStation. However, I did play on my Switch, because, you know, my Switch is for indies that I like, right? Because I don't know, man. Like, my Switch is always docked in my bed. I have my Pro Control, not docked in my bed, but it's docked in my dock near my bed or whatever.
Like the nightstand. It's near your bed.
Yeah. And I always just like to play a Switch game on my Pro Controller laying in bed, you know. It's, while I typically play PlayStation games at my desk, you know. It's just a weird stupid thing that I do, but like whatever, right? So Cyber Shadow, okay. I was talking to you about it last week. You know, you were bagging on me saying, "Oh, it's not that difficult, Kev," and then you know what I'm saying, GG, like get good, Kev, right?
Damn.
And I took that shit to heart. Okay, I took that shit to heart. I'm gonna read you my stats when I finally, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I fucking beat Cyber Shadow, and it was one of the best moments I've had in games in a very, very long time. Okay, I died 1,219 times.
It happens.
1,219 times. It took me 27 hours and 39 seconds to beat Cyber Shadow. And listen, man. There was a lot of trials and tribulations. I'm not gonna lie, okay? There was a lot of trials and tribulations, but I did not want to come to another Safe Slot podcast without beating this fucking game. And the amount of, like, I did the biggest exhale once I beat that final boss, man. Because honestly, the final boss isn't even really that bad. It's just the lead up to that is like fucking insane. Like, this game will give you some like impossible fucking task, right? And then immediately right after will give you another impossible task. Like, this game does not hold back. And at the end of the day, right, I went through a lot of trials and tribulations, as I said before, right? This game was hard. However, I respect this fucking game. This game is fucking amazing, okay? Like, currently right now, in February 13th, right now, it is my game of the year for 2021. 100%.
You'll have to see it.
100%. It is a tough game. At the end of the day, I fucking respect it. I fucking respect it. You know? I loved it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see like everything that you've mentioned in the final boss. But something that I remembered is did you check how many deaths you had at the end of Ghost Runner?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't remember, but I definitely died way more in this game than Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner is a whole different world easier than Cyber Shadow, at least to me. You know, at least I personally felt that way for sure.
No,
but
yeah,
I forgot off the top of my head.
Yeah, no. So I had a friend who played Ghost Runner, and he had like 1,400 deaths. So it's like it happens. Like 1,200, like does like with everything going on in Cyber Shadow, that's honestly a respectable number.
And then here's the thing too, like there were those times, ArachKnight, where like I'm at a section, it's giving me a hard time, right? And you know the first part of the section, but the second half you're still trying to learn, right? And because you're trying to learn that second half, you want to put yourself in the best possible scenario to last as long as possible in that second half to learn more intel and get better, right? Like that's how I break down hard games. Like that's how I personally do it. I just break it down in the sections, get this 100%. If I fuck up on the first part of a section and I know I can do that without taking a hit, I just kill myself and restart.
Yeah, no, like
yeah, that's what I do a lot in those type of games. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing it a lot here in Cyber Shadow. I'm not saying like 1,000 of them were those deaths, but I'd say maybe like 70, 80, maybe around 100 of those were probably me just running off stage to start over. You know?
Yeah, no, there's I definitely do the same thing where it's like why make the second part harder than it is? Might as well just restart. So it's nice to see that difficult games are kind of getting their like a resurgence almost, because the 2010s, those were some baby ass games.
Talk to him.
Like
talk to him.
I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of the games in the 2010s were very difficult, which is fine for people that don't want to challenge. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know me, I always love a good challenge. Like, I love seeing what I can do and if I can overcome it. So it's nice to see that things are, you know, kind of shifting, like different categories of games. Like, say, hey, this game is just if you want to chill out, or this game is if you want to really test yourself, like Cyber Shadow, or I don't know. Because it's always fun to see how far you've come. Because I was playing Doom yesterday. So I was,
oh, there we go.
There we go. So I was playing some Doom, and I was playing the campaign again on Nightmare. And it's like, wow, Nightmare ain't shit anymore.
Damn.
After playing the Master levels and the DLC on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, yeah, the base campaign on Nightmare ain't shit anymore. Like, I was going through encounters not taking any damage.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, and then on top of the fucking soundtrack in Cyber Shadow, some of the animation work, not animation, I guess, but like the
Pixar?
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, specifically the like cutscenes that happen at the very end of the game, ArachKnight, is some of the most beautiful work I've ever seen. Like, dude, bro, it is fucking this game is fucking amazing. It is incredible. You know, I loved it. Like, yes, I had a hard time with it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it was very, very challenging, but your boy stuck through it. And a game hasn't given me that satisfaction in a very, very long time. You know, so shout out to that. And like, hey, you know, perhaps, last thing I'll say, perhaps it gives me a little hope with Bloodborne. You know, that I may be able to. I do want to ask you though, like, once you beat Cyber Shadow, let me know, what did you think was honestly harder, Cyber Shadow or Bloodborne? Definitely let me know that. You know what I'm saying?
You're just trying to gauge it to see. Cause
I want to get because if Bloodborne is gonna be like Cyber Shadow, I need to prepare myself for that. You know, because I didn't have a lot of prep going into Cyber Shadow. I wasn't hearing that it was incredibly hard, and it is. You know what? It is gonna be a little bit, you know, an interesting revelation if you beat it and you don't think it, or at least can't see the lens of where I think this was like incredible. I'll say it. I think Cyber Shadow is probably the hardest game I've ever played. I think that might be a fact. I think, you know, certainly in the top 3. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts for sure.
I'm excited to I'm like just to see your reactions. Like, oh yeah, Cyber Shadow compared to Bloodborne, cakewalk.
Yeah, if you say that, I'm gonna really feel a type of way. That that's gonna be quite interesting, as I'll put it. But besides all that, of course, ArachKnight PS5 watch. ArachKnight, how we doing on the PS5 watch?
Bad.
Hey, we had some links this week. You know,
we did have some links. None of them worked,
unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? But I do have a story that is connected to the whole scalping situation, and I thought this would be quite interesting to specifically bring up in the ArachKnight PS5 watch. Okay, so there were some scalpers that were I believe interviewed by Forbes. I believed. Yes. So this comes to us from Pushquare. Once again, link below in the description. I want to read a few quotes about what these scalpers are saying about the whole situation. Okay, ArachKnight? Here we go. Quote, there seems to be a lot of bad press on this incredible... Wait, let me start over. There seems to be a lot of bad press on this incredibly valuable industry, and I do not feel that it is justified. All we are acting as is a middleman for limited quantity items. Tesco, for example, buys milk from farmers for 26p or so per liter and sells it on for upwards of 70p per liter. No one ever seems to complain to the extent as they are currently doing towards ourselves. So, these scalpers, ArachKnight, they feel that we shouldn't, be giving them any negative backlash. As someone that is directly being affected multiple times a week by these scalpers, do you have any comments on this?
Thank you for emphasizing someone who takes multiple L's a week.
I mean, damn. I mean, look, to be fair, I've been taking L's. I'm trying to get other people PS5s as well in my life. It is not going well either.
Well,
it's definitely not going well.
Okay, I'm gonna give so in the comparison that he said, he is buying from the producers at a markup. We as the consumer have to go through a lot more hurdles in order to get milk directly from the farms. And there are ways to do that. It's just whether a preference or not, if you want to do that. But the option's there. There's no milk shortage from the farmers. It's oh, we can't sell you that because we're already promising to sell it to the big company. You are comparing yourself to the big company that is pasteurizing and taking care of the milk and and allowing it to be sold at stores all over the world. You are comparing yourself to that at a markup. But the argument is fundamentally flawed because there's no trade-off. The only person that you're negatively affecting is the people that you say you're trying to sell to. You're limiting. It's like the toilet paper situation. You are hoarding it in order to make a profit. Or with antibiotics and things like that, you are hoarding it to make a profit. You are limiting the supply. The demand is constant. You are limiting the supply available to other people in order to take as much money as you possibly can. There is nothing that they're doing that is... It's this is coming from pure intentions or whatever. No, it's greedy. It is fundamentally greedy. It is selfish. And the argument in which they're making is it's we're just doing what other people do. You're not a big company.
It's beyond me because I never thought we'd be comparing milk cartons that cost at max
few bucks,
$4 or $5, and I understand the value of $1, right? I understand that perhaps there are people out there, of course, it definitely occurs that they can't afford a gallon of milk. I understand that, right? I'm not trying to say that milk is cheap as hell, but in comparison to a $500 console, you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know what you're doing. So stop.
It's almost if they had the ability to buy it directly from the warehouses or the factories where PS5s are being made, that's different. But the consoles are sold to distributors, to retailers.
That is a very good point. Okay, I see the paint. Damn, you're so intelligent, ArachKnight. Damn, I see that.
I'm dumb as shit. I just hit.
I see that oil painting you're painting, and I like it. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So the consoles are sold to retailers. So you go from Sony warehouses and Sony factories to retailers. And these people, using bots or however they do it, are mass hoarding consoles in order to sell for an egregious profit. Because I went on eBay just to look, just to see how they're doing. The worst one I saw was $1,800. Over a 300% profit on the console, not counting taxes and all that, but just base $500. Over 3 times the cost. And some of them I saw were $900. The average was about $900 to $1,000. you're trying to make double the profit, like double the cost of what what other people would pay in order to get this console, and you are limiting the supply in which these people can get them for themselves because you're a lazy piece of shit and you want a quick buck.
Yeah, and like I like what you said as well in terms of like when in the milk category, right? Yeah, there are companies that buy milk from the farmers to then sell for themselves in stores, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, hypothetically speaking, you could go directly to a farmer and buy milk from them if you really wanted to, right? That, in essence, you have multiple options of getting said milk, right?
Yeah, but these people...
you like as a scalper, you are never like you don't have the option to go to the warehouse and buy a PS5.
No, yeah,
you bought from a retailer. So in essence, you're just making less options, which is the main problem of this whole thing. Yeah, like there's less options to get a PS5 right now.
They're creating a funnel in which that they like it starts out wide, like at the top of a funnel, and it narrows itself down to as little as they can possibly get it. If they had the opportunity, they would choke it out. It's like the only way to get a PS5 is through us. And for a lot of people, that's the harsh reality of the situation. Like for people like me, I've tried to get in PSQs. I've had a tab open on my phone and on my computer for a digital and a disc-based PS5, and I couldn't get it. And that's fine. That's just unlucky on my part. I got there, more than an hour wait. If you see more than an hour, in my experience, it's Chi-Chi.
Yeah, like, I mean, and I would like to bet and probably like to assume that like more people, more consumers that are actually looking for a PS5 and not scalpers, right, are getting better luck at Sony Direct as opposed to like a Walmart or Target. Because like, why would Walmart and Target police scalpers? Like, they're still getting the money. No, they're buying them.
No, but they are like they're Walmart and Best Buy have been a lot more cautious when it comes to scalpers. Not as much as Sony can directly, but they're doing more steps. Like you can only order one console per address or whatever. So they're definitely trying their best to mitigate it, because the PS5 was the second time something like that had happened. The first being the Nvidia and the AMD graphics cards, because that was also something that I wanted to get and I couldn't. I still can't. Like I was awake right at launch. Less than a minute, gone.
Oh man. Well,
and it's like my last thoughts on the whole scalper comparison with the Forbes interview. I've made my case in an argumentative fashion. Like I don't agree with what you're saying. I think your argument is fundamentally flawed. It's selfish. It's self-entitled. They're victimizing themselves. It's like, why are people mad at me for being a piece of shit? I'm not being a piece of shit, even though they are. But it's go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it may not be that, like, they're doing anything illegal, because I don't think they are doing anything illegal, as far as I'm aware.
No.
But you are doing something that's, like, morally a dick move. Like, yeah. That's just facts. Like, you are morally not doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's, like, legally there's nothing wrong, but ethically...
Oh, yeah.
It's questionable at best. Fuck you at worst. Like it's just, oh my god, stop. Listen, I want a console.
I have another fuck you to make. You know what? I'm not gonna say fuck you to this specific story, because I love this franchise and I love this game. Okay, we're gonna roll into the episode 5 stories here mainly. Start off with this one thing. Okay, so this was bubbling throughout the week. This what made that Final Fantasy VII remake PS5 patch DLC video, And because we got this quote here from one of the directors, the co-director of the remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake specifically, Toriyama. Okay, he said this on Twitter. This is translated into English. Quote: in addition to the performance, which, damn it, I keep forgetting the performance. Long story short, they're doing a Final Fantasy VII Remake Orchestra World Tour. It happened in Japan as of this recording last night. And this is what he said about the performance. Quote: in addition to the performance, we have a special program planned we have a special program planned as well. There will be a few things related to Final Fantasy VII Remake that will only be revealed at this concert. So I got fucking excited as fuck, right? Because, okay, we're gonna have remake news. That could be a PS5 patch. That could be a PS5 version. If it's a PS5 version, ArachKnight, I promise you, if they come out and say, hey, PS5 version, we're not gonna do a free upgrade, you gotta buy it for $70. ArachKnight, I'm fucking buying it 3 times. Like, I don't care. You know? Yeah. If it was $300, I would buy it. I don't care the price. Just give me it.
I was definitely gonna buy it on PC when it got moved over.
Right.
Move over. Like I was absolutely gonna do that because photo mode. Let me get some of those nice shots. Unless those backgrounds haven't been fixed, then never mind.
Yeah, they definitely gotta do some more high res textures for sure. But besides all that, literally I am at a point where FF7 Remake and anything else beyond it, anything else associated with it is priceless. I will pay it. I don't care, right? So, you know, they said that there was going to be some announcements and stuff like that. Approximately nothing was said. Nothing was actually announced. And, like, I'm not saying I'm mad. I am incredibly hurt. Like, I woke up this morning, okay, hey, what's the news? Even on the dock, I wrote myself a note, hey, replace this with what was actually announced. And nothing was announced. So, like, I'm not saying I'm mad, Square Enix. I'm not saying I'm mad.
I'm disappointed.
I am very incredibly hurt. Like, this is some true heartbreak, you know, but it's okay. I'll be patient. It's okay, because there will be a time where we will talk about more info, and I cannot fucking wait. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. It's cool. It's alright. You know.
It's alright. I don't know. I remember how you and I were planning on going to the concert in September.
Oh, I do.
It was the night of Comic-Con, or like the second night of Comic-Con. And my plan, I had a whole weekend set up. I was ready. I had saved up money. Like, I was good to go. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Comic-Con on Friday. I'm gonna go back to my hotel room. I'm gonna get showered, change. We're gonna go to the concert. We're gonna cry. We're gonna be super excited and, like, you know, get into it. And then these people couldn't stay inside, and they took it from me. They took it from us.
It's just like, listen, Toriyama, listen, I respect you, okay? I should be saying Toriyama-san, right? Is that how you address a higher up of authority? Like, no, like I'm being dead ass. Like, is that like the usted in, like, Spanish? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Should I say that? Is that wrong?
My rule of thumb is, if I'm not absolutely sure,
you're right.
Do it.
let me not. Okay, let me not. I'll just say Toriyama. But if Toriyama-san is a better way of addressing that, sure. I respect you nonetheless. Okay, good sir. But how in the fuck do you say we have a special program planned where we're going to announce stuff and then just don't? How does that happen, Sway? How does that happen, Sway? You know? It's okay though. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just hurt. But I'll live. It's okay. It's all good. Next up here. E3 2021. It's rumored to be happening still, but there is a caveat there. This was reported from Video Game Chronicle, which they've been doing a lot of reporting. So I'm gonna keep a little bit of a closer eye to them because they've been getting some scoops lately, if it's true. But they say here, quote, the ESA's intention is to hold multiple 2-hour keynote sessions for games, partners, and award shows in June, as well as a June 14th preview night and other smaller streams from game publishers, influencers, and media partners. The broadcast event would be supplemented by media previews the week before, as well as demos released on consumer platforms, according to the ESA's proposal. The only problem is that they are saying that they are having some issues getting a lot of big publishers on board. A lot of it is, I would assume, because last year we had a lot of publishers do their own events, which for them turned out great. For us, it was very exhausting to keep up with all the news, but that was a real thing that happened, along with the ESA is still charging like around the same rates as if they would for a normal year of E3, right? Which is upwards of 6 figures. And it's like, from what I've heard, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I've heard it's like the higher end of the 6 figures that you could have, which, like, I don't think like if it was still going on like in person, I can understand that, right? Having booth space and all that and like etc. But for it to be completely digital, that is just fucking absurd. So yeah, and then in like I guess we can kind of co-op both of these stories. Jeff Keighley did announce that Summer Game Fest is happening, so that is still going to be a thing this summer. We'll be definitely looking into that over the summer months and all that. But overall, E3's in a dire situation. Summer Game Fest is still treading on. Do you have any thoughts, ArachKnight?
E3's been on the downward slope for years, and it's a shame to see, definitely, because I remember being younger and like my dream was to go to E3, even though for a consumer it's kind of miserable because it's just you're in a tight area with a bunch of like having to wait in line to play games. 1, 2, it smells like sweat. And 3, no, that's all I got. But I Summer Games Fest really came up and said, like Daniel and the cooler Daniel. E3's Daniel and Summer Games Fest is the cooler Daniel. It's I believe it's time to say goodbye to E3. As sad as it is to say, like it I don't know, like it feels like it's run its course, and that's a shame. Like, there's nothing that E3 does that Summer Games Fest can't do, especially in the climate that we live in currently. I feel like it would just be redundant, and a lot of big names have pulled out of E3. Like, Sony hasn't showed up in a while. Like, didn't Microsoft not show up like last year?
No. They were still in E3, even like the last traditional year of it. Yeah. That was a big deal because like they had E3 to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember that being a big deal as well. But
yeah, I think companies are starting to realize that it's not profitable to do E3 anymore, or it's not worthwhile for their investment when they could just put all of that into Summer Games Fest or do it themselves like Nintendo Direct. It's like, why would we pay someone else to say the news that we could just do on our Twitter or on our YouTube channel? They just do it ourselves and cut out the middleman, because people are passionate like about Nintendo. Like if Nintendo says they're gonna do a direct, a million people are gonna watch it. They cut out the middleman and they still get the news coverage because the people that report the news are gonna put it out there, and then everybody's gonna know about what they're doing. So why bother? You do it during the summer, or you do it with Games Fest, or you do it by yourself. And the only person you need to worry about is your company, and what you're doing, and the message that you need to say. It's not how many people are going to go to E3, how much money do we need to spend to get representatives out there to talk about our game. Like how I don't know how about the inner machinations of how to get a booth and to talk about it. I know indie game devs suffer, which is tragic. Like that's something that's not as easily accounted for in these online broadcasts. And my heart goes out to the indie devs that are struggling to get their games out there. I don't have an immediate solution or an idea on how to resolve that, but all I can do is offer my sympathies and know that people are looking for indie games. Like that it's not just my game's never going to get coverage, but for the time being, my sympathies. But for the bigger names, yeah, I think the only place that E3 still holds any value is for the indie game devs. But other than that, I think it's run its course.
Yeah. And like E3, what I've heard from like industry people, that it's a really great way to network, you know, obviously, right? Like there's a lot of you know, behind closed doors deals that get made due to E3 and everyone being in a physical place at one time. And you know, like maybe you know, FF7 Remake wouldn't have been exclusive to PlayStation for a year if it wasn't for an E3 backdoor deal. That makes sense? You know what I'm saying? Like like those things just happen at E3. And yeah, like obviously I feel like it was nearly every kid's dream that watched E3 as a kid, you know, to go to E3 someday. Because I know it was definitely mine for sure. I was killing to go. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's all good. And like for those that think that like E3 is ever gonna come back, at least the same way it has been traditionally, Sony has State of Play. Microsoft has its own thing that I forgot what it was, but they have something like that. EA has their own thing. Ubisoft has their own thing. Jeff Keighley literally has Summer Games on top of Game Awards, on top of Gamescom opening night live. You know what I'm saying? Like even like from like a smaller scale for like those indie games as well, you know, Kind of Funny Showcase. You know, that they have been trying to do that as well. Like there are so many other avenues that when it used to be E3, now it's a lot more, right? Which for better for worse, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So E3, it's been lit, but I don't think you're coming back, unfortunately. And we have these next two topics that kind of go into each other pretty easily, obviously. We did get the casting for The Last of Us TV show on HBO, of course, the Last of Us series. Ellie has been casted as this 17-year-old named Bella Ramsey. She was on the, of course, HBO hit show Game of Thrones for her role as Lyanna Mormont. I think it's a good way to say, yeah. Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones. I have not seen Game of Thrones. Have you seen Game of Thrones, ArachKnight?
Nope.
Okay, so we both have no way of knowing if she's a good actor or not. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm kind of keen on like to go and search up scenes where she's in and kind of like get a feel for her acting. I know I'm not gonna get a full view because I don't want to watch Game of Thrones, but at least get a little something and see. But overall, hey, listen. Above all else, right? Whoever they cast, which we will talk about Joel because holy fucking shit, right? But from this specific casting, Ellie's standpoint, Bella Ramsey, right? I may not know how good her acting ability is, but I do know that Neil Druckmann has involvement in this game in this series to a pretty high degree, right? Like, he is one of the writers on this series. So I have to assume that at least Neil was somewhat involved in the casting picks. Maybe. Right? So that's why, at the end of the day, Neil Druckmann, right? Like, The Last of Us is Neil Druckmann's baby. You know? Like, 100%. Right? That is the, like, if there's one person to tie to The Last of Us, it is Neil Druckmann. So if he somewhat gave this okay, then Bella Ramsey has to be good, and Druckmann has to have seen something in her to evoke Ellie in live action. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how she does, for sure. But of course, in tandem, motherfucking Pedro Pascal is fucking Joel. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. I had never thought about Pedro Pascal as Joel, but now it's like, oh my god, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get it. Let's get it. So, how do you feel about these two castings?
Pedro Pascal plays another single dad.
On another escort mission.
On another escort mission. Like,
yeah. My man out here.
He, like, I feel like the Mandalorian really just, you know how some actors, like, they're stuck almost. It's like, oh, this guy's always the villain, or this guy's always the hero, or whatever, or this guy's always the wisecracker. Like Chris Pine is always like the wise guy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Mandalorian has really solidified Pedro Pascal as, do we need someone to be a single dad? Call Pedro.
Escort mission.
Escort mission? Call Pedro. He's a remarkable actor. Like, everything he's in is excellent. He always does an excellent job with whatever he does. And I'm very excited to see what they do with it. I like you mentioned, I'm not familiar with Bella Ramsey, so I can't make a comment on that. But I do know Pedro Pascal, and I do know the quality of Neil Druckmann's writing and his passion for The Last of Us. So I'm definitely excited to see what they do and how they'll do it. So only high hopes here. Like, I think it'll be a great time.
Yeah, man. Like I've been telling my aunt and like my mom and stuff like that, like, hey, like, I know you guys aren't in the games, right? But like, I do want you guys to watch the Last of Us HBO series, you know, because I'm just curious as to how it translates to a person that is not aware of the games, right? I'm very, very curious to see how it actually imprints on them as a series. You know, I'm very, very curious. Number one, but number two, now our boy Joel is a fucking Hispanic, which is lit as fuck. Let's go. Another W. Let's get it popping. There were also those rumors about Mahershala Ali being Joel, which I would have been down for. I would have been down, you know. I would have been down for that as well. But Pedro, I'm really happy about it. I can't wait to see how it goes. And are we doing a like after show?
Like
for the series?
Dead?
Yeah, bro. Are we gonna fucking do that shit?
We'll talk about it.
Because I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. I'm gonna wear a suit every episode. You know.
We'll get an actor from the show to.
Oh my god, can you fucking imagine? Listen, because here's the thing, right? We gotta be the biggest after show for The Last of Us HBO series. You know, I think that like there is a gap there that we can fill, that we can capitalize on, and you know, we were already the biggest Last of Us Part 2 podcast, right? Not that bullshit official one that PlayStation did and neither did. No, fuck that. Nah, we were the first ones. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They were a little late.
So, yeah. So why not do it twice? Why not do it twice? Last news here before we get to the main topic. Ariana Grande, right? Which, you know, before we even get to anything else, full stop on just Ariana Grande. Can we get a shout out to Ariana Grande one time? Big fan. Big fan. I don't listen to her music that much, but
big
just
fan. I don't really do what you. I don't know what you do. I don't.
I don't listen to music that much. You know what I'm saying? I know the hits, right? I'm down with it for sure. But just as a physical person, as a physical woman, if you will, shout out to Ariana Grande. You know what I'm saying? I just say that. You know, big fan, big fan.
Shout out to women.
She was great on Victorious. Fucking loved her on Victorious. Funny as fuck. You know.
Shout out to Victorious. I'm gonna be real.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Dude, listen, it's on Netflix. I will stand by it. I will stand by this quote. Victorious is a top 3 sitcom we had growing up. It hit a little bit late for us. I get it. You know, we were a little bit like we were in middle school, perhaps high school. You know, but that is some quality humor. I swear.
I gotta ask you one question to know what kind of person you are.
Oh, here we go. Go ahead.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody or Sweet Life on Deck?
Zach and Cody. Come on, man.
Agreed.
Do you like On Deck more?
No, I said agreed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, On Deck was definitely, like, it was serviceable, but it was not as good as being at the Tipton Hotel. You know, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tipton Hotel. Yeah. Shout out to that. But she was doing some sort of interview, I think, or something like that, or like some sort of like Q&A, and someone asked her about, I guess, a particular line in a song of hers called 6:30, where she says that like she like plays games until 2 a.m. or something like that, and she said like, yeah, like, you know, as I was writing that song, I was thinking more of like a like Mario game, or like, you know, those you know, games that are pretty well known to the average consumer and the average gamer, right? Like not the hardcore, you know what I'm saying? But then she did a deep cut and brought up Sackboy, which I would consider low key more of a deep cut than Mario, right? Sackboy's big, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. But yeah, she has beat Sackboy: A Big Adventure before me, and I just got to give her props. You know, she I hope she's satisfied with the DualSense. I would love her thoughts on the DualSense. You know, those haptic feedbacks, those adaptive triggers. You know, but I thought, you know, I just thought that was pretty cool. You know, does she have the platinum trophy? I have a lot of questions.
If you'd like to come on the show to talk video games, feel free.
Listen, and if you don't think I'm clipping this out and putting it on Twitter, I am, right? Hi, Twitter. I am clipping this out. So I'm going to use this to just, ArachKnight, if I may. I would like to extend an open invitation to Ariana Grande to be on Save Slot and talk about Sackboy: Big Adventure. We don't have any coverage about Sackboy. I haven't played it yet.
I don't have a PS5.
I would love for her to. Yeah. Also, ArachKnight does not have a PS5. That's also a thing.
Wait, no, but can I get it on PS4?
Can you? Actually, I think you can.
Like,
let me.
I don't know. If we had, I'm gonna be honest. If we had a big name like that coming on the show, it's like, yeah, in 2 weeks, Ariana Grande is gonna be on the show. I'd buy it from a scalper.
It is like, on PS4. It is on PS4.
If you told me that we had somebody like coming on, it's like, oh, okay, like I don't know, Yuri Lowenthal is coming to talk about Spider-Man 2 and wants our thoughts on Miles Morales on PS5 and exclusively PS5. I'd buy it from a scalper.
Listen,
it is my only exception.
Here's what I'll say, right? Because I know that Ari's listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Ari, can I call you Ari? You know what? I won't. Can I call? You know what? I'm not gonna call her Ari yet, but Ariana, excuse me. My you know, I'm jumping the gun on these short nicknames, if you will, right? Ariana, Miss Grande, right? I'm not saying we've had any big names on here, but we have been tweeted by Yuri Lowenthal. I do have a Twitter interaction with him, right? Chelsea Tavares, we had that as well, you know. Like, you could be that. All I'm saying is I just want to hear what you thought about Sackboy, a big adventure, and if you want an outlet to express your thoughts on it, because clearly you like the game. You were playing at 2 a.m., right? That has to mean something. So I mean, hey, if you would like to express your thoughts about Sackboy, a big adventure, Ariana Grande, you have an open invitation here on Save Stop Podcast. Open invitation. Is that okay, ArachKnight? Can I extend her an open invitation to Save Stop Podcast?
Feel free.
Okay, well, I will be hearing back from your PR agents, I assume, at some point. You know, I know you're furiously sending this tweet out to them, but hopefully we can have you on the show, because I also think you're great.
Here and you're already stuttering.
All right.
I think you're great. Happy Valentine's Day.
Speaking of Happy Valentine's Day, you know what I'm saying? Oh wait, I mean, yo, before we get off it, Ariana Grande song, the like number plus number that equals 69. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like 34 plus 35, I think it is. It is 34 plus 35. Listen to that song. That song's fucking hot, man. That's a bop. It's a bop. It's like hot in like all the ways of hot. You know? It's a good one. I definitely implore you to listen to it after this. But question of the week. Of course, this is being uploaded and published on Valentine's Day. We're a couple of single bachelors here, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about video games. I don't think anybody's surprised.
That is true. You know what I'm saying? That is very, very true. You know, whenever I get the, you know, the Tinder match here and there, right? I usually say that, hey, I cover PlayStation and podcasts as like one of the last things I say. You know what I'm saying? But I figured let's double down, right? And let's have a nice discussion about the couples of PlayStation history in games, right? We've had a lot of couples. This list I have here does not have to be the main list, right? Like, I'm sure there's others that I missed, right? Because I feel like I'm missing other couples in PlayStation history. But I figured we just, you know, just brainstorm, ArachKnight, like how we feel about these couples. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, it's windy outside. My blinds just slammed shut. Did you hear that?
I did not.
Like, they just slammed shut.
Yeah, I know it was windy yesterday, and I was checking the weather today, and it's gonna be windy again later on in the day, but I did not see it. I did not. I mean, like, I'm looking outside, the trees look to be stable. There is some movement, but it's not too much, you know?
Agreed.
I guess we'll start. ArachKnight, do you have a favorite couple? It can be on this list or not, but like, do you have a particular PlayStation couple that you like? You know,
I can tell you like one couple in this list that I particularly like.
Okay.
Whenever I think PlayStation couple, it's Nate and Elena.
I mean, if we keep it in the buck, they're at the top for a reason.
Yeah, like they're the first couple that you think of when you think PlayStation couples. But absolutely. Cloud and Aerith, I get to live vicariously.
You don't want to say the bottom one. You don't want to.
That's the outro.
You know. I think there's one above it. I don't know. Perhaps your Google Doc is a little bit glitched, or you know.
No.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
No,
Listen, okay. let's just get right into the clown thing, okay? Let's
get that out of the way.
Ultimately, Nate and Elena are like the number one. Like that's the elite wholesome couple right there. You know what I'm saying? You see them go through struggles. They like even allude to like some sort, like in Uncharted 3, it was never said, but like they spent some time apart in between Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 in terms of like a potential like breakup or maybe like broken off engagement or something like that. Like there was some troubles there, and then of course we see in Uncharted 4 they go through issues there. Like they're I think the best couple, because not only do you see like the best, you see the worst, and they have a very happy ending at the end of Uncharted 4. You know what I'm saying? So Nate and Elena for sure number one. That's just facts.
Yeah,
right?
they separated in Uncharted and Uncharted 3. They were separated because remember, Elena had a ring.
That is true.
And like they were at least engaged, if not married. But they got formally married that we saw in Uncharted 4. But
yeah.
And a lot of the issues are because of Nate.
That is facts.
Like, the whole relationship conflict in Uncharted 4 that Elena even says is like, I wasn't sure even I was coming back this time.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, man. Uncharted 4 is fucking great.
Yeah, she thought about leaving him because of his, like, recklessness and selfishness. And she didn't. Like, Elena's a ride or die. Like, she's there.
No, you know what? We're gonna pause the Cloud and Tifa thing. Hold on. So, I'm gonna say one last thing that like really solidifies why I think Nathan Drake and Elena are the best couple in PlayStation history, right? So, I tweeted about this recently, but in Uncharted 4, there is a cutscene that I think it's called like the dining hall cutscene or something like that, right?
Yeah, I saw
it's towards
that.
the end half of the game when I'm already getting chills because like I fucking like long story short, this is my favorite cutscene I think of all time still. It's they're trying to figure out what happened to James Avery and the whole band of pirates that were
Avery?
at
Isn't it Henry Avery?
Why did I say James Avery?
I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is Henry. Why did I say James Avery? Yeah, it is Henry Avery. Why the fuck did I say James Avery? Whatever. Henry Avery, right? Yeah, and what happened to the other pirates at Libertalia, where they were hoarding all their treasure and all that. And Nate is breaking down this dining hall that has a bunch of corpses in chairs, right, with all the pirates' names on them. And so he's explaining to Elena, like, oh man, and like, Henry probably invited them all over for a feast, like to make amends and have this camaraderie. And like he's explaining what happened, and the cutscene just focuses on Elena and her facial expressions on what I interpreted as like her finally coming to terms after all these years, after all these games, who Nathan Drake is at his core, right? Like I think that was the one cutscene that completely shifts and lays a pipeline to what Elena does at the end of the game, right? And like when you love a person, right, like there has to be like a ringing bell scenario, right? Maybe this happens early, maybe this happens later, but like there comes a time when you truly see that person for who they are, like undebatable, right? Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad, right? But like I think that in this moment we see Elena have that revelation that, look, Nate is a lot of things, but at Nate's core, he loves the adventure, right? Like he loves chasing history. He is an explorer. Like that's who Nate is at his core, And like I think that cutscene just does such a brilliant job at like showing that it's my favorite. So like reflecting on that cutscene and like thinking about, you know, their first interaction on the boat in Uncharted 1 where Elena is trying to shoot this, you know, TV show and Nate just being like a hot shot, whatever. Like going from that to Uncharted 4, it's like fucking incredible. So Nate and Elena for sure are the top ones, absolutely.
Yeah, the growth between each other and individually is incredible. Like seeing Nate's characterization change, like he's still like the wisecracking, like smart ass, but he matures a lot, and for good reason. Like, you know, the guy's gone through hell throughout all the games, and I like that cutscene's like definitely up there. I definitely agree with you, and I interpreted it the same way. It's like she understands that he needs the adventure. Because he was happy with her. He was happy, you know, living in a suburban neighborhood, like, you know, doing what normal people do. But she realized in that moment, like, I can't keep him locked in like that. Like, he only gave it up because of me. And that's not fair. And that's not fair to him. Like, if it weren't for me, he would still be doing it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you even see that in the beginning of the game where Nate has a whole attic dedicated to that side of him.
Yeah, like, you know, he locks it away.
Yeah, and it's it's a remarkable way of expressing that. Like, I fucking love. God damn it, Nate and Elena are undebatably the best couple. Absolutely, for sure. You know, but ArachKnight. Cloud and Tifa, man, like exploring their past. Tifa knowing that spoilers, I guess. I guess we should have topped it off. Hey, there's gonna be spoilers. Holy shit, we just
Uncharted 4 is 5 years old.
We spoil a lot of Uncharted 4, but Cloud and Tifa, you know, they're like where I started to really like Tifa ArachKnight. It was when you get to Sector 7 slums in the remake, and you spend like what seems like a full day doing these side missions around Sector 7, you know, and like having Tifa be right there and like her kind of like, you know, like carrying me into this world in this specific place in Midgar, you know, and you know, Tifa like knowing that something's up with Cloud but having reservations about telling him, you know, which I know like from a real world standpoint you would assume that Tifa in like normal circumstances would probably tell Cloud that, hey, no, like that's not how things went down, like it hasn't been 5 years or like whatever the whole thing was and all that, but there's I just really like the Cloud and Tifa bond, and I like it more, of course, which we haven't seen yet in the remake, but in the OG game when Cloud has Mako poisoning, and you know Tifa helps Cloud see like what actually happened, in the past, you know, like that's dope as fuck. But at the same coin, I have a new outlook, ArachKnight, on Cloud and Aerith that I think I now see that like Cloud and Aerith are kind of meant to be together, you know?
Yeah.
But then there's Zack, you know?
Yeah, well, Zack's fucking dead.
I mean, not anymore.
I can change that.
I mean, not anymore.
Yeah, well, Aerith talks about like, oh, I got over it.
I would love to see them interact in the remake, man. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you best be over him. I'm here. I'm now.
Wow.
Like he can have like Zack and Tifa, like you know, they have so much in common. They both have black hair, like whatever. Like
what the fuck?
they can figure it out. But all jokes aside, I do see where people come from with Cloud and Tifa, because I watched the route where it's like you're more Tifa than Aerith in remake, And like the dream sequence in when you're staying at Aerith's house.
Oh my god.
Like, come on, Aerith's scene where it's like, oh, you
no,
like, can I talk about that?
Yes, no, because I wish that was a cutscene I got. I honestly, low-key wish that like that was the main scene. If I had to pick one, it would be the Cloud Aerith one. But please go off on the beat about that cutscene.
You know, but it's like Aerith's like, you can't fall in love with me, and Cloud is visibly recoiling. Like,
it is the most heartbreaking shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Because she knows what's gonna go down. Cloud doesn't know what's gonna go down. Like, she tells him, is like, you're not allowed to fall in love with me. And then touches his face, like in an intimate way. Like they get close and she touches his face. Like she wants it, he wants it, but she's trying to protect him. The entire conversation is essentially trying to protect him, because she doesn't want him to be hurt like he was in Advent Children and the latter half of FF7. Because Cloud was heartbroken for years after FF7. For years. He's haunted by it. Like, it is the '1 mistake that has haunted him his entire life after the events of FF7. That he couldn't save her. It's something that drives a wedge between him and Tifa in Advent Children. And it drives a wedge between him and everybody else, because he's constantly trying to make amends for a mistake that he can never take back. In his eyes. Like, he can never... It's trying to fill a cup that... Or trying to fill a hole that only gets deeper. He's trying to help other people, or isolating himself, staying in Aerith's church, tending to the flowers, doing everything he can humanly do in order to make amends, or to carry on what Aerith was to him, to other people. But the hole only gets deeper, and it only becomes a greater burden on his shoulders as time goes on. And so Aerith knows that. She knows everything that he went through after what happened in classic FF7. So she's trying to protect him the entire time. It's like, you can't fall in love with me. You can't do this. You can't do that. But at the same time, throughout the entire course of the game, Aerith can't stop herself. Like, from spending time with Cloud. Because if she wanted to stop Cloud from falling in love with her, just don't spend time with him.
Yeah.
Like... She chose to lead him and take him on a longer route to get back to the slums in Sector 7 from Sector 5, I think. And she's like, oh, I know another way. And it was the long way. She wanted to spend more time with him. And when you do all the side missions in the first part of the game, and Aerith gets her red dress for that mission, and Cloud, again, visibly recoils. Like, he even apologizes, because he just doesn't have any words to say. He didn't get that reaction with Tifa, is all I'm saying. He saw her in the dress when she was going, and he was like, hey, we're coming after you. Well, I gotcha. But when Aerith's in her dress, like her Tier 3 dress, he apologizes because he just doesn't have any words to say, and then he he's shy and like puts his head down.
Yeah,
he's like, sorry, and then Aerith is flattered, and I don't know. It's just throughout the entire course of the game, Aerith brings out a new side of Cloud that doesn't happen with Tifa, which is why I'm not Team Tifa, like, personally. And plus, Aerith is super cute. Like, she is such a cute character.
On top of all that too, like at the very end of Advent Children, like Cloud's able to smile.
Yeah.
You know, like knowing that, like, hey, Aerith like doesn't have negative like feelings towards you. You know, like, fuck, man, like that shit hits. So like ultimately, like I know it's Cloud and Aerith. I know it is, but like off of the first playthrough specifically of the remake, I was definitely feeling the more Cloud and Tifa type vibe. So I'm wondering now, because I know when I play remake again, I'm gonna fucking cry so fucking much. You know, like now that I have the full context of Final Fantasy VII, like I'm gonna be a fucking wreck, and I really want to see more. Like, I think it's undeniable that like after I play it again, I'm gonna be on Aerith more for sure, but like that's gonna be what I see more. But we'll see. But yeah. I still have a lot of love for Tifa. I think Tifa's very, very important to Cloud specifically and his past as well. Like that's why I really like Tifa as well. And like I know you're not saying you don't like Tifa, but yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
I can understand like narratively, and if like narratively for myself, it's Cloud and Aerith. Like I already explained why my thoughts on narratively, but like if I were, you know, if it were like if I met someone like Aerith and someone like Tifa, yeah, you can bet that I would be a nervous wreck around Aerith.
Damn.
But like I can see, like, you know, I've talked to a few people. It's like, oh, Tifa's more my type, and it's like, you know, I get it. She's cool. Like, but it's just like Tifa, like it's just childhood friend. So it's hard to distinguish that from romantic interest, and it happens a lot in stories, especially in anime. Childhood friend usually loses. That's all I'm gonna say.
Damn.
Which is an L if you're a childhood friend.
Also, shout out to Jesse as well. You know, shout out to Jesse.
In terms of romances, like it's Aerith all day, every day. But if Jesse, Tifa, and Aerith were romances, in terms of playthroughs, I would do Aerith first, then Jesse, then Tifa. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Jesse was they made her very endearing, which you didn't get a lot of in classic FF7.
Yeah, I really like Jesse in Remake. You know, like she just seems like very forward and honest about her feelings. You know, like even so much as like asking Cloud to literally go on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like Jesse is just a confidence that like it worked for me. Where I'm like, girl, get that shit. Go for it, queen. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jesse. But we do have a few more to cover as well, of course. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's probably clear that, okay, Nate and Elena definitely number one. Honestly, after this conversation, Cloud and Aerith are probably number two, to be completely honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to see how that all stands out when the remake is done and when we're approximately fucking 40 years old when it's done. I'm curious to see how it all shakes up from that standpoint. Nate and Chloe's a good one, though. Nate and Chloe's a good one. You know?
I don't agree.
I just think it's a nice little different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like it is, I think, looking back on it, I think it's there's a hint of toxicity.
Oh, they're super bad for each other.
That like I appreciate it because I think it really shows that like Nate belongs with Elena. You know what I'm saying? Even though I like this, like, you know, side piece type thing with Chloe, you know, definitely like the more like fun type of relationship that, you know, it's like Chloe was the rebound, you know?
Yeah, Chloe was definitely the rebound, but Chloe, like, my take on it is Chloe was the girl that Nate would have gone for when he was younger.
Yes.
Elena's the girl that you settled down with.
Chloe is perhaps what you want at the age of like 21, 24, something like that. But Elena's going to be what you need in like your 30s, in like your late 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You follow me? You know, it's a whole want and need dynamic that I think you don't get. I don't think Nate will I don't think Nate would have understood that he needed Elena without wanting Chloe.
Yeah, like that's why their conversation at the end of Uncharted 2 is like really important, because Chloe asks him, is like, do you love her? And the first thing Nate does is apologize.
Yeah.
Because she knows the answer and he knows the answer. So he apologizes because he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Chloe. Yeah, I do. And she accepts it. It is their most honest moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because Uncharted 3, we didn't see a lot of Chloe, and Uncharted 4, she was gone. Like, we haven't seen a lot of Nate and Chloe interaction since that one mission in Uncharted 3. But in that moment, like, in their best moment, Nate apologizes. Like, it shows character development. It shows that he's matured and that he really understands what he wants comparatively to what he needs.
Yeah.
And at that point, those two become one and the same. He wants Elena, and he knows he needs Elena. So because when he thought she was going to die, like it hit him. It hit him like a freight train. He was like, if we had seen Nate more desperate in that moment than the entire saga of Uncharted games. Like, he was desperate. He was desperate to keep her safe. Also, fuck Flynn for that cheap bastard. Really? It's like, oh, we're gonna help you. Here's a grenade, asshole.
I kind of want to hit the ones that like we don't have a ton to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cole McGrath and Trish Daly. I'm gonna keep it honest. I forgot about this whole thing. I haven't played Infamous in a very long time. Yes, I love the games, but
I could talk about it because I do remember their relationship well. There's not.
I remember her death, but that's it.
Yeah, you know? there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, and we're gonna keep this like canon. Like, the canon story is that Cole chose the good ending in both games.
Yeah.
So Trish blames Cole for something that was completely out of his control, which is fine. She was grieving the death of her sister. Like, it makes sense when you think about it on in a human level. Like, logically it doesn't, but, you know, emotions play rampant. So, and then Trish kind of just, hey, I need you to do these things, and Cole's like, can we talk about what we were and, like, fix things? And she kind of pushes him off until, like, a few missions before her death, and then she dies. And then she says that she's proud of Cole for using his powers for good, and then dies. And that's it. But if you look at Kessler, again, there's not much to talk about. Cole, no race fear, no. I forgot what they called the explosion. I know it was like the Empire City incident or whatever.
Yeah. I remember there is a name that they say. Yeah. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, I already talked about it.
So that never happens. Cole and Trish get married. They have a few kids. Zeke's their best man. Trish dies to the beast, and so does Cole's family, and then he becomes Kessler. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about Trish. If anything, like, Cole and Quo in Infamous 2, I would have liked to see a little more there.
Oh, I forgot about that, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay.
Like,
you're right.
Also,
You're right.
Lucy Quo's theme is the best part of the Infamous 2 soundtrack.
I'm gonna play the Infamous series again here. I'm gonna say relatively soon. I'm not sure when, but I'm definitely gonna do it. Definitely.
I've played and watched Infamous. I've just played over a dozen times, so I could talk about that game all day.
A couple that aren't that crazy. I think Kratos and Faye is a good one. I just like Kratos and Faye because we never see them. Faye's always dead when we play God of War. No, but I'm yeah, but like it's the effect that Kratos has with Faye, Yeah. Like Kratos is able to learn like what it means to, I think, truly love with Faye. You know what I'm saying? Like and you can tell that like Kratos like misses Faye in like a lot of different instances where like on that journey, like, I don't think it's hard to believe that like there are times when like he felt that like, oh man, like fuck, I wish fucking Faye was here to help me with fucking Atreus and this whole bullshit, And like at the end of the day, also what Coy Barlock says, those handprints that are glowing throughout the game are Faye retreading the journey that Kratos and Atreus would eventually go on. Thus, you can also interpret that like Faye led them on this journey, and like brought them as father and son together, which is fantastic,
It's
and of course, honestly, the whole plot of God of War 2018 is revolved around Faye herself through her ashes. That's the main point, That's like why we're taking this journey, is because of Faye firsthand, So I think while it's not a traditional relationship that we see, I think like you see the effect of that relationship very, very effectively in God of War. You know.
Yeah.
So shout out to that.
Yeah. Don't like one of my favorite lines in that whole game is, "Do not confuse my silence for lack of grief."
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, dude. Yes.
Like, Kratos was hurting the entire game.
Oh, big facts. Big facts.
And to see that characterized in a quiet, like quiet and somber, instead of how Kratos traditionally dealt with grief, which is scream and murder. Like, it shows a lot of what Faye did to him. Because the best relationships always help bring out the best of oneself and ideally of each other. That's how I think of a good relationship comparatively to a bad one or a toxic one, is that even if you split up, because not every relationship could withstand the trials and tribulations of life, or something happens, God forbid, you walk out of the relationship knowing that you became a better person throughout the experience.
Precisely.
So that's why Kratos and Faye is like you said, not a traditional relationship like we talked about with Nate and Elena. It still is very important to Kratos' characterization and the God of War narrative, and that's why I think it's important and deserves to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Some quick ones again. I think that we're gonna spend a ton of time on, like Peter and MJ, specifically inspired on PS4. Yeah, you like see them, you know, find their love again and like rekindle that and all that. But you know, it's not like the main. It like wasn't. I don't think it was like
it wasn't focused on very much. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
MJ is mad at Peter for most of the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They got issues.
I mean, honestly, I think they do a way better job, and it is better emphasized and focused on in the prequel novel.
Yeah.
A lot more. Like you like see this like argument where like MJ feels that like she cannot make a risky move for herself or her own intuition without Peter protecting her and like coddling her, you know, and like MJ feels held back from that standpoint, you know. And like that's an interesting fight that they have, and like an interesting conversation that they have, and like, you know, how do you be in a relationship between another human when you're a superhero, you know, and like you have a whole different dynamic of like what a threat is to the common person, and like how do you balance that, you know. I think it's like a really, really interesting way that they did in the prequel novel. So like definitely in the novel there's a lot of cool stuff that they emphasize between them two, but yeah, it's like not that much in the game, but that you know, like had to give a little shout out, you know, for sure. Shout out to them.
I'm sure they'll expand on it in Spider-Man too.
Oh yeah, yeah, because now they're together again, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that for sure. He even went on her to I almost said Sokovia, not fucking Sokovia. Symkaria?
Yeah, Symkaria.
Damn, that sounds really close to each other. Fuck. Well, yeah, they went to Symkaria and all that. Another one, of course, the game that I was talking about, Miles Morales. Miles and baby girl Haley Cooper was good.
They didn't start dating.
I know, but I hope it continues. You know what? You're right. It shouldn't be on this list. They're not a couple yet.
Well, I was gonna say they started talking. Well, they did.
Yeah, they're not Facebook official, but.
Damn.
I bet by the beginning of Spider-Man 2, I bet they're gonna be a couple, you know.
Well, she can't call him.
Huh?
Like, a lot of the conversations happen like through calls. That's not gonna happen.
You motherfucker. Nah, man. Like they're gonna figure it out, man. They're gonna, all their stuff is gonna be like in person, like with the signing and all that. Like I bet they're gonna, you know, I bet we'll figure it out. They're gonna figure it out, you know. I have hope. But now we go into the Last of Us section. Oh, you know what? Hold up. Before we get to the Last of Us section, because there's a lot of different couples in the Last of Us. Deacon St. John and Sarah Whitaker. I don't think you played Days Gone.
No.
Okay.
I got so bored in the very beginning.
Yeah, let me like say my piece. I'm gonna spoil this whole dynamic. I don't think you really care, to be honest.
I don't.
So of course, you know, Sarah in the beginning of the game, she's dead, all this good stuff. You know, Deacon has a lot of, like you know, Deacon has like a lot of guilt over that. You know, like we see, you know what, honestly, and it's something that like I kind of like it worked for me, even though I think a lot of people took it as like a little bit cheesy, which I can understand. But like, there's multiple times where you go back to this like pseudo grave that Deacon made for Sarah, you know, and like we hear Deacon like talk to her at the grave and everything, and different stuff like that. We see the wedding day and all that, right? And it's played up that oh my god, yeah, like she's gone. Deacon has a lot of pain for it, right? But then eventually she comes back and she never died, right? Like Deacon just thought that she had died, but she lived throughout that whole altercation in the way beginning of the game. And while it was painfully obvious that they were going to bring her back, right? It was still, I think, pretty cool to see Deacon react to that. You know, I think it, like, overall, it was something that, like, it felt like a very, like, classic, like, TV show type of, like, reaction to it, you know, where, like, yeah, okay, we all saw it from, like, a mile away, but it was enjoyable, you know.
It still hits.
Yeah, like, it was really cool to see. I'm forgetting the fucking actor, it's bothering me. Darth Maul. Oh my god, dude. What's his name? The actor that plays Deacon. He's also Darth Maul.
Oh, the same guy that was Starkiller?
Yeah, tip of my tongue, man. Yeah, him. God damn it, what's his name?
Shout out to him. Great actor.
Who was it?
I don't know his name, but great actor.
Yeah, him. Shout out to him. I think he did a great job at Deacon St. John for sure. Last of Us. I think the one that we'll probably spend the less time on, Joel and Tess. I just like that whole dynamic. It's not said that they're a couple, but they've been together for a very long time in the first game. Like they allude
like
to
a married couple.
Yeah, they're like essentially a married couple. You know what I'm saying? But like we like never see them really like have any type of like intimacy or like say that they're a couple, but like they've been together for a very long time, where the 20-year gap happens in The Last of Us, you know? So, shout out to Joel and Tess. Shout out to Joel and Tess. Tommy and Maria as well. We see them go through some struggles as well, especially in the second game and the first game, honestly. Like, you, like, see a lot of, like, foils between them two. To eventually, due to the events of Part 2, Maria leaving Tommy as well. So, that's interesting as well. So, yeah. That's a whole dynamic that I'd like to see. Alright, ArachKnight. I think the one we'll spend less time on, Dina and Jesse. How do you feel about Dina and Jesse?
They're better as friends.
I agree. It wasn't working out, you know. Yeah. Oh, I skipped on Abby and Owen.
Bad.
Really?
Those two were so bad for each other.
I mean, was Owen better with Mel or better with Abby?
The whole cultivation of their romance was really toxic.
Abby and Mel or Abby? Oh, I mean, Abby and Owen, 100% toxicity, absolutely.
Yeah, it was absolutely toxic, which is why I understand it narratively and it makes sense narratively. But, like, thinking about it as just, like, pure couple, like, just thinking about them as a couple, it's not a good couple. It's super toxic.
I can see it. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I can see that. I think my favorite, like, this has to be, like, in top 3 category of, like, my favorite couple. I really like Ellie and Dina.
Agreed.
I really, really like them. You know, specifically, I love Dina as a character. She's one of my favorites in Part 2, honestly. Like, I fucking love Dina. But I really thought Ellie and Dina worked. Do you have any deep analysis on Ellie and Dina?
No, I think they're a good match for each other. It's definitely heartbreaking to see what they go through in Part 2. And like something that Naughty Dog really does put a weight on is just like, it's not both people causing harm to each other. It's like all the weight is on one person. It feels like sometimes, like we talked about Nate and Elena. Like Elena was great and Nate was an asshole. Ellie and Dina. Dina's been pretty great and Ellie was an asshole. And Tommy and Maria.
Yeah. Tommy's the asshole.
Tommy's the asshole. Like, and the whole thing with Tommy and Maria, like, kind of, like, I don't know, she seemed kind of fed up. I was like, yeah, like, I'm gonna walk away after the death of your brother. Like, that was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the whole thing, like, I think what was broke the straw on him. Well, I think we start to see them really drift apart when Tommy leaves, you know, to go get vengeance for Joel. You know, after he tells Maria that he's not going to, and he just can't help himself.
Yeah, he lies and leaves, which I
he like lies and leaves, and then it's alluded that when Tommy comes back that they're still together. But what was the final thing was when Tommy wanted to do it again.
I mean,
you know,
like, yeah, he already nearly died. Yeah, no, I don't blame Maria. Like, Tommy...
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
I don't blame Maria. It's just, like... It's just, like, it's very tragic.
100%. 100%.
But same thing with Ellie and Dina. Like, Joel's death completely destroyed their lives. And if Joel had died in almost any other way, they would have still mourned and suffered. But the fact that it was an execution. The fact that it was an execution in front of Ellie, that's what destroyed her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was really sad, like, with Ellie and Dina, like, they were happy. If she had just chose happiness instead of the vendetta, she could have walked away with all 10 digits. But she was obsessed, though.
Yeah.
Like, something we talked about a lot on Road to Part 2 is that a main theme of The Last of Us Part 2 is obsession. It's the cycle of violence and obsession, because the fact that you're willing to travel across the country multiple times to kill one person, to hunt them down to the ends of the earth, is obsession.
Yeah, and that's even in... I think that's what you were getting at too, is that, like, it's from all sides. Like, it's from Abby's perspective, it's from Ellie's perspective, you know what I'm saying? It's from both sides, you know?
Yeah. They're obsessed with killing each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But...
And I think a very positive relationship that Ellie once had was with Riley as well. Ellie does have another random girlfriend that she brings up, like, in between, like Riley
Kat
and Dina.
Or something?
I forgot her name. But she, like, brings it up, and, like, she just never really talks about it. So that one is, like, not even that sensical. But, like, Ellie and Riley, shout out to Ellie and Riley, you know?
Yeah, like, Left Behind. Ellie learned what love was because of Riley. Which let her find Dina. Which led her to find Dina. But it's very important in her development.
I agree. So definitely we're I know we crowned it like a half hour ago, but the number one, Nate and Elena, of course. Yeah, I'd say my number two, definitely Cloud and Aerith, and then my third, Ellie and Dina.
Ellie and Dina, like Peter and MJ in PS4. I don't think we've seen enough of, but those two are a favorite in comics for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know, like, some of my personal favorites are definitely Kratos and Faye, and that whole just interesting dynamic of a relationship, and like how it affects them. Deacon St. John and Sarah too. You know, it's a little bit cheesy, but I like it. I like it. So, and of course Cloud and Tifa, shout out to them. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of PlayStation's best couples. You know what I'm saying? Valentine's Day. You know, I'm single as fuck, so you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But of course, ArachKnight, where can the people find you?
I am on the PlayStation Source Discord under the same name, and on Twitter at Orly_Macias if you'd like to see photo mode shots or some comic book shit. That's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has been Save Stop Podcast episode 5. The weekly news show about any and all things PS5, PlayStation games, and PlayStation itself. You can catch the show here on youtube.com/PlayStation Source, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, via our anchor link down below in the description to get us on podcast feeds. You can, of course, like the video and or rate the podcast to help us get seen by more viewers so we can grow the PSS family. I'm being dead ass. Seriously, rate us. Put anything, insult me. I want to read some insults next week about your boy. Okay, down below, of course, you can also let us know what you like or dislike about the podcast, as well as like and dislike with a rating, and connect with us further on Twitter and Discord in the description. Along with, if you're feeling generous, feel free to hit that join button to become a member of the channel with the $1 Prince tier and our $5 King tier to be a member, just like ArachKnight, Chungi, Owen, Caleb Kaiser, Tabua Musa, etc. You know what I'm saying? And if you need some more live interaction, you can, of course, check out the stream series. We have public playlists. If you missed the streams, they're up there unlisted. Along with this upcoming week, we'll be streaming some more Ratchet and Clank, A Crack in Time. We're probably gonna get to the middle and maybe the end, but I don't think we're gonna beat it this week. But like maybe like we're gonna be like middle of the game, and you know, later half of the game as well. So we're gonna be continuing that, and we'll be starting Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty as well. So very excited for that. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a nice Valentine's Day if you're not single. But if you're single like me and ArachKnight, you know, video games are always there for us. Ain't that right, ArachKnight? You know what I'm saying?
Pain.
Alright. Oh man, I'm lonely. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.